Alright, today I'm going to look through my Max Steel Ken doll mashup collection video where I like to take the Max Steel bodies and put them on and put Ken heads on them. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes. So usually fashionistas or ones that match the skin tone, it is a darker skin complexion. This is by far my favorite mashup. He's got this robot arm, which I could do without. You know, it does limit what he is, but that's why I like this head so much. It just looks like post-apocalyptic guy with his vitiligo complexion, and it's just a really cool mashup. He's a perfect skin tone. I have tried different ways of putting on the heads. Maybe I regret this way now, where I would whittle down the neck post so that and then I would wrap tape around it so that I could adjust the neck, because I will show you in a bit what happens when you use the standard peg and one of these new heads, because it's yeah, these guys have short necks, and Max Steel heads have longer necks than Ken's, and shorter necks, and Ken's have longer necks than Max Steel. So when you put the short neck with the short neck together, then you're getting an extra short neck. That's why I like the tape method, except I lose that real motion, even though I do have some give and can do some sorts of head motion, but it's not like a real perfect toy, but it does work, and I guess it's okay. I would rather he doesn't look that bad with his neck pushed down. I don't know, maybe I'm used to it now. Maybe, you know, most guys that have this amount of muscle don't usually have very much of a neck anyway. Alright, so is this the one? No, we should probably look at my very, very favorites first. Which, oh, I got so many boxes of these. Hopefully I can throw some of the stuff out. Should we talk about? We won't talk about him yet because he's a little too special. So here's another one. Oh, man. I can't. Barbie extra jackets are so incredibly made. Here is an example where I did not adjust the peg and I just put the neck down on the body, and so you can see his neck is a little stubby. But this is a pretty good match. It's not a perfect match. This seems to be a perfect match. This skin tone, it was just this chocolatey brown. And then this is the one that I am. This is unacceptable. So this guy, this new guy who was on the petite body, he had a pretty short neck. Can I take this off now? I guess I'm not going to take it off now because I'm going to heat it up. But I don't like this skin tone. I thought it was good enough, but it's not. Should not have gone to him quite yet. But he's a good segue to that other guy. This guy, it's an example of how I push the neck on all the way. This is a very special, by the way, Max Steel body, the one that is fully made to move articulated. Back in the early 2000s is when these came out. And, you know, I find them at yard sales. I get friends to send them to me from eBay stores on eBay or from Europe, and other thrift stores, maybe Facebook Marketplace. There is a Max Steel on Facebook Marketplace right now that it's not one of these made-to-move bodies. I'll show you what the standard bodies look like in a second. But it comes with like a snake and stuff and all kinds of, so I kind of wanted, and the price did just go down, but it's kind of far away. It's kind of cold for me to ride my bicycle that far, but I might have to do it. So this was a very good head match. He was the guy with the prosthetic leg, the fashionista, and when I'm looking at them in the camera, I don't think their necks are looking too short, so I like it. It does help when they have clothes on and stuff. But I do like this. I like having a classic Ken, but with a little twist with the brown hair. So that was a good one. This head's come out a few times with one of the sets that I can think of now is like a veterinarian set, a dog trainer set, I think specifically is what it was. And is that one? Oh no, this was on Fashionista. I think I used a Fashionista. Nonetheless, this head has come out and it's usually the same complexion, and it works really good on that body. So this one I'm going to remove, but maybe I will keep this in my box because the head, and you'll see that coming up soon, that I have a few heads, I have a lot of heads pulled off, ready to mix and match with these bodies when needed. This is a very special body that came with a Barbie set. Blanche Devereaux romance novel set was what the name of it was, and what they did when they made this, they wanted some buff guy to put in the set. So they used Mattel, didn't use a Ken body, which they could have used. Like, the old Ken body was really buff anyway, which is really strange, but I guess they wanted to see the definition when the shirt was open and make it really look like a romance novel. So what they did was they took his right arm and they stuck that over on to his left side so that he wouldn't have the robot joint. Now this is the standard Max Steel body. This is the one that you're going to find the most in most packs. This articulated one really only came in a couple different sets, and most of the time it had like a voice box. I haven't stumbled on one of the voice box ones, I guess mostly because I'm Canadian and I don't think the voice box one came to Canada or Europe, and that's where I got most of mine from. But probably one day I will stumble upon one of them. Not that I really want it, I would rather have no robot part in here. However, I do some parts that I like to lean into the robot part of these. But this one, he has a slightly lighter skin tone, which you might not be able to see in the light. I think you can. Yeah, see, it's a little more red, and so is this head. So it might be a good candidate to use with this head. Now this head that I have on it is from the Star series. It's Sean from the Barbie. It wasn't really Barbie, but I think it was. It was like Star by Barbie. She was Star. She was a teenager. She had all kinds of school friends, and this was her boyfriend, and he had a much slimmer body, kind of like the ones that were in the Elvis and who else had, I don't know, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe it was James Dean. The James Dean one had the same kind of really strange straight arms and stuff. I think it could have been a body on its own. I think it was slender. It was supposed to be a teenager, but he was the perfect skin tone to match this, and such a retro hairdo. It's so funny. So this hairdo, very big in the 70s, then very big again in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then now again in the 2020s. This F-boy hairdo is, well, that's what it would be called now, but it definitely has a comeback. So he does look kind of modern, retro, and just a really interesting face. And you can see that his head does fall a bit higher because some dolls have bigger necks, longer necks. So back when they were doing these dolls, did I have to alter him? I think I had to alter him. I think I had to cut out his, I think he was on one of the standard heads that just turned back and forth because he's old. Actually, I don't think I would do that. Actually, maybe I would do that. I don't remember now. Anyway, it does fit nicely on this peg, and I do keep this one. Do I regret cutting those spikes off? No, I don't regret cutting the spikes off. I probably would regret cutting these off. This is such a coveted body. In fact, I was very lucky to get this very cheap from Facebook Marketplace. And then I sold the girl doll that came in the package for more than I bought the set for. So I kind of made money on that and got to keep his head and got to keep all of his clothes. And his body's pretty cool and stuff too. So wait, I'm mixing up both. I bought both on Facebook Marketplace. I kept his body and stuff. He was in pretty good shape too. He came with his box and stuff. He was in great shape. He came in his box and stuff. And I didn't sell any parts of him. I have all of his stuff. But the Blanche Devereaux doll and outfit, I kept her sealed in the package, and she was even stapled there. I didn't take her out at all. I didn't put her shoes on. I didn't do any of that stuff. And I sold her in the box with the missing boyfriend that I had taken out, and I kept all his stuff, and it's really cool. But this head does fit. I guess I go back and forth whether I like these necks or not, but I think I don't mind it right now. Yeah, look, both the stubby neck and the longer neck look fine. Maybe just on this guy. This is where I really notice it. Maybe because his head was designed for a petite head, but he does, and maybe because the color is off, it really does stand out as his head looks funny on this body, which is a shame. But it would look better on this one, even though it's also a little bit lighter. It's a light chocolate milk. Now here's my second favorite. This is where I lean into the robot part. So there's a toy from, I guess Hasbro had the Steve Austin series, and it was called Maskatron, and it was a 14-inch doll. They're a lot bigger than these 12-inch dolls, unfortunately, so they don't match. And I do have it here. I'm not going to show you, but it's they stand much taller. Oh, another thing that I should mention about the Max Steel dolls is they're like 5'10". If Ken is 6 feet tall, they're about 5'10". They're a little bit shorter than your standard Ken. The buff Kens are a bit taller, so you can see. Well, maybe with this, I mean, it's not. It's just like he's a short king, which it's not uncommon for short guys to try to get taller sideways. So that's kind of what happened there. Yeah, see, yeah, it's not much of a difference. It's a good scale. I mean, he even makes Buff Ken look puny, doesn't he? So what I did here, okay, so there's Maskatron, which we will get to again from some of the other creations I put together, and then this one, kind of, my intention was to paint his hair white and make him a pulsar. So that was an official Mattel doll. He was also like a 14-inch. He was a bigger doll than a 12-inch doll. He stood about this tall. Steve Austin, easy to grab onto. Where? Oh no! Yeah, I know that I had it right here, but I was shuffling stuff around. It's definitely in this pile right next to my leg. Am I gonna pull it out? No, but I do see more Max Steel stuff that I might have to check up on that I didn't realize that I had. So we might have to look at that. I didn't think that this video was going to be this long. But apparently, I have way too much to say. So I think this is an official Max Steel gun. It's hard to keep track, but check this out. So the Steve Austin had a bionic arm, if you're not familiar with who he is, and I just love this. This guy also has the made-to-move ankles, which are way nicer than the standard Max Steel ankles. You can see how they're kind of cankles. And then these are so nicely shaped, and they have the full articulation with the swivel. This is the first. Oh, this is the first made to move. Wait, none of those. This is the first made to move body, and Ken had it before anybody had it. But okay, so back to this one for a second. So this Blanche Devereaux Ken pack in. So the best part about him is he's missing his space bracelet. His skin is a little different. So sometimes this one can be a favorite because he does have, a good amount of articulation. Their hands are a bit big too. That's another negative about Max Steel, besides their cankles. But I mean, this is pretty good articulation. So like he can sit down, and he's got full shoulder motion, and he can bend and he's got bendable wrists and stuff. So I mean, that is a pretty good body. But there are some weird looking things like his ankles, and his hands are big, and the fact that he normally has a metal bracelet on. But this one's like, it's perfect. Like that that ankle is perfect. So good for wearing my Hot Wheels skate shoes and stuff. So love this one. How many do I have of these? I have 4 of these. And I don't know who's going to be the lucky guy to get this neck, but this guy's going. He didn't pan out as F-boy of a head that is, which is, it's like a really modern day head, and he has a beard, which is so uncommon. Yeah, I think that head has to go, even though I really do like that head, because it's hilarious. And look, you can see that. Check that out. Is it in fact based on this hair? I think it might have been. That's basically Max Steel. Are they having a Max Steel revival? And that's the head for him? That would be way too cool. Because look, that is the same hairdo. How come I never made that? So with this guy, I was trying to make myself a Pulsar. So Pulsar had an empty cavity in his body, and you could pump the back of him, and you would see his organs work. Very, very cool. I need to get one of them. They show up on Facebook Marketplace too. I'm not a big Facebook. It's weird. I'm not a big Facebook Marketplace, but I guess when you're getting retro toys like this, Canadians can't turn to eBay because of the shipping, but Facebook Marketplace, when there's somebody local and I can ride my bike to it, that's why it's doable. So I put on all the silver stuff. I did have silver sneakers on him, but I think I had the Back to the Future Hot Wheels skate shoes on him, which is why he's not wearing this. So this guy's kind of in between, but probably my second favorite body, because he's got the cool ankles, the full articulation in the knees. He doesn't have the double jointed elbows though, but he has a robot arm that gets revealed when you bend his arm. So I love this body. It's so cool. And then this was me. I removed all of the paint from this head, and I tried to paint his hair white, but I don't think I'm a very good painter. I don't think I had the patience to get into the details or the correct paint or the correct paintbrush. So it was really hard for me, but I did want to keep his face all like robot-y clear and paint his head white and make him the Pulsar that Mattel isn't making me, because I really want them to make me a 12-inch Pulsar, a 12-inch Max Steel. I actually want them to make a Masters of the Universe Origins Pulsar and Max Steel, and that would be so good. And what's it, Major Matt Mason? They did it with the little DC figure Buck, but I want both of them. I want all 3 of those entities and more if they have more, but I definitely want them to reissue Pulsar in like Barbie, G.I. Joe size. That's really what we need. That's really what we want. It's really what I need and want. And yeah, they could do, oh yeah, it would be so cool if they did that. But maybe they are doing it. Maybe this is a Max Steel comeback. It's been so long since a toy company has made a 12-inch action figure, and we need that. We really want that and need that. All right, so that is this guy. He is my android. He's fine without the white hair. It would be great. I should probably just get myself a good brush, get myself some good paint, and then just very, very carefully. If you take your time, you can do anything. And I don't have the tools or the time or the patience to do it, but it doesn't really need to be done. He is a prototype, cool robot, Terminator, awesomeness, robot stuff. I gotta put some more silver shoes back on him. Oh, and he had a silver crown, because why not? Why not? What else do I have going on here? We talked about Sean with his buff body. Here we go, crazy retro. These are 2 amazing favorite mashups. So I had these. I had these. I did videos over on the Too Hunky channel about making these. So I had all these extra bodies, and I have these. Oh, this was the video. When in this video I was supposed to steal their shorts away and put them back on the I guess I'm gonna have to do that in another video. Oh yeah, it was for a whole Ken collection video. Way too much stuff to split it up. I do need to steal these shorts back. These shorts came from the Waterplay beach budgets that you can get. So there's always 2 Kens at first, and then Walmart in Canada at least only ends up with the Ken head one. These are 90210 heads, and I did do in-depth videos because they did have really long necks, and what I did was I sanded down their necks. I just cut their heads off. They had the normal just swivel regular Ken heads, which not a fan of, and I cut into them, and then I sanded their necks down and down and down till they looked okay on the body, and their heads didn't come too far off the body. They luckily were such a great color for these, and I was never going to play or use the other Kens that had just the 5 points of articulation. I mean, I need at least this many. Ideally, I would have put them on the made to move. That's not a made to move body. On the made to move bodies, but I don't have that many bodies, and I kind of wanted to do something permanent. And oh, for him I do have the tape. Wait, yeah, for him I have the tape. Or was that? Oh no, for both of these I have the tape. For one, we'll get to that. We'll get to that story in a second. Anyway, great skin tones. I did the whole wrap the tape around the peg thing for these two, and they have great articulated bodies. Not made to move articulated bodies, but definitely articulated bodies. And as much as I destroyed these pretty awesome 90s Ken dolls, I made something that I'm actually like to use and like to play with. The other ones, they weren't as fun to do things with, and these two are, and giving them these super buff bodies is also ridiculous too and fun. So very cool, and those are probably some of Mattel's best likenesses that they've created too. So really, really cool that I did those. And that should bring me to these two. So Derek has one of the best heads in the world. This is another one that I had to destroy, so I ripped off his head and then I cut out the insides, again on the Too Hunky channel. This light is so bright here. Maybe that's not cool that I take away the light. I don't want that bright light in my face. Maybe it's better that it's like... Anyway, here they are. This guy, this guy on this body, so this body I had used a lot and had whittled away at the peg, so he had just this tiny little peg sticking up from his neck, and there was some reason the tape wasn't working or sticking on it. I think this guy has the peg on it. I stopped whittling the peg down after I had experimented with it a little too long and didn't like the results and the possibilities, and kind of destroying the integrity of the original doll too. I didn't really like that. But this guy did have a tiny little peg sticking up, and the tape wasn't sticking on, maybe because this head was too hard. But what I did was I filled the head with hot glue, and I put the peg into the head, and it sealed around the peg going up here. And this is one of the best heads that I have on one of these because of that. It's articulated and it's tight, and it's not going to come off ever. I can't take this head off, nor do I want to. But I wanted somebody to match. I wanted a Barbie in the Rockers can. Now this isn't a Barbie in the Rockers can. And there's also like 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 Ken heads from this time period, from like the 80s and the 90s, that had a posable neck, not one that just turned back and forth. This was one that turned back and forth, but I have yet to try that, and I really want to. I need to find one, but I have yet to get my hands on one of those necks. I think they're probably a bit longer. It's probably going to set too high on one of these bodies, but one day I will track one down. Maybe I'll get one today. Do I have 60? Got that light on me? Okay, back up. Don't look at me. Okay, all right. So this was just some kind of retro 80s can, and I had a couple of them, and he had great no chips in his hair or anything, and he kind of looked like a Barbie and the Rockers. He looked like he was from that genre, but the Barbie and the Rockers can had real hair, which I don't know why some people get hair and some people don't. I don't like that inconsistency. I don't like the hair, especially short hair on dolls. It doesn't look good. This is pretty good, and this is my Barbie and the Rockers can, even though he's just retro Ken, and the body is so great. And oh yeah, this is something I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet. These bodies fit the 1980s clothes perfectly. So any of those earlier Kens with the, well, not the earliest Kens because they were stick thin, but the retro 80s ones, all of those clothes fit on this body perfectly. So those clothes are so great to get, which is why these guys fit into these jackets so great. However, their hands, sometimes getting their hands on the sleeves, but these are really rubbery hands, so you can heat them up with a heater and they will become more squishy, and you can squeeze them into things that you wouldn't want to. But right now these guys are wearing their own jackets with beach playline shorts, and these are WWE shorts. Oh, and here's the other thing. So my WWE dolls, which is I just did a video on these mashups between the hard-headed Barbie color reveals and my favorite WWE dolls. And this, look, what do you think of this outfit? Anyway, these shorts and these cuffs came with these bodies on WWE girl likenesses. So female wrestlers, a female wrestler line that came out in the 20 teens. Those shorts are nice and big and stretchy, and they all fit, and the wristbands were the perfect thing to cover up the armband, and it just looks so good. Actually, this is not that. That is crazy. This is actually his glove. He had a fingerless glove, and I just took out the one stitch that was supposed to separate his thumb from his fingers, and it became one of the loops, and I'll show you the actual cuffs. And it matched these WWE shorts so perfectly. So it was the perfect combination. I guess I shouldn't have showed you yet. And anyway, you can get Max Steel with tattoos on them, and because of his dark hair complexion, he looked really good with the tattoo on his chest. So that's the body that I chose for him, and the skin tone was such a good match. And yeah, one of my favorites. Not fully articulated, but it's the body I have. Ideally, all of them would be made to move. And yeah, and then we looked at him, just your 80s Ken on this body. I think it looks really, really good. And here is my example. Okay, this is my stepping outside my comfort zone, because this is a Hasbro head. Who is this girl from brain hiccup. Sorry, I don't remember what the Disney movie is. You can tell me down below. Mira? Anyway, the Lost Dragon, the dragon girl. So this is her dragon daddy, and he does have kind of a chocolate milky skin complexion. It's not a perfect match, but I thought he would be so good, and especially to put him on the dragon tattoo Max Steel. So it is a good fit, and he has often been the trainer. He's wearing WWE matching shorts and wristband. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And he is the trainer to these other two MMAs. These came out during Ken's, was that Ken 70? Ken doesn't have a, no, Barbie's not even 75 years old. His 60th anniversary? Anyway, there was a fashionista during that anniversary. I'm sure this Ken was supposed to be an homage to the original Ken, and I think that it's just really cool to have that one on there. I just really liked this head so much, and it is almost a perfect match, but no, it's not a perfect match, but it's a pretty good match for this body, and I don't want to change that. It's one of the stubby neck ones, but looking at it in the camera, I don't have a problem with it. And then this one was also from that anniversary year. It must have been 60. I regret not getting more of these. This was the Ken. There were 3 Kens. They had one for the 80s. They did a Barbie and the Rockers, Derek and the Rockers rip-off or inspired by, and then they did a whatever the Smooth Moves Ken, Fitness Ken, the Fitness Ken one, whatever that one was called. And then they did one for the classic first Ken in the little red swimsuit with the little red and white shirt on, and they made them more ethnic, unfortunately. Well, fortunately and not. I don't have a problem with them changing making them diverse skin tones and stuff. Well, I would have liked them all to be the darker skin tone, but they made one of the guys. They made the Derek on a slim body, and unfortunately, oh yeah, the clothes, which are so cool, they don't fit on a standard Ken, or definitely not this body. But that's just a story about these 2 heads. And this one was just a regular fashionista, but he looks like I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for when they made his head, because he looks, anyway, they both look really good, and they belong really short, tight haircuts, and I do like that. I do have, because speaking of different diverse skin tones and stuff, it is really cool that this is more of a African American descent, or of African descent head, and the skin tone does match on the skin tone, because it is so dark that I'm surprised that I don't have more. But this is a favorite head, and I'm happy that it looks good enough on this body. And again, we've got some scratches from the original paint job. I think this was probably a tiger fighting body, and this one is just a plain one, but I could mix it up, and again, shorts and matching wristband covers up the robots, so these guys can just be martial arts. And I have put them in these shorts a long time ago and haven't wanted to take them off. I think it's Sasha Banks. I think she's the one that they made so many different releases of her, so every time they gave her a different outfit, and they all have matching shorts but different, and matching wristbands. And what's this last one in this box? There's more. Oh no, this video is going to be too long. Why? I guess just another dragon tattoo chest, and this one is more of a rotating one. Sometimes I'll use this when I'm feeling old. I'll use this as my mini-me, because it's just his hair is almost gray. It's kind of really light brown, so it looks gray. And I mean, he's got some curvy girl shorts on. Curvy girl shorts fit on Ken very nicely sometimes, but it just looks like underwear. And it was just one of my experiments where I took one of the older heads and it's such a good skin tone match, which is also why this is such a great head for that. And I cut it, and I don't know if I even sanded this one down. I might not have had to sand this one down. And they're looking better to me. Sometimes I look at them and I don't like the line around the neck, and it bothers me, and it looks like a bad mashup. But today, the short necks, the long necks, I'm liking them all. I'm really proud of this collection. And here are some other heads that I've been experimenting with. Oh, I lied. I do have one of these heads. Do I have an example? I guess I can't do it today because it should be warmer. I don't want to break the pegs or anything. I need to see how that fits on the neck, though. There must be more. Should I heat somebody? it needs to be one that's not, no. No. Yeah, no, I can't do it today. But I don't even remember. I must have tried it. It's not in very good shape, and it's such a strange color that it doesn't match. But I bet you, I bet you it fits pretty nicely though. I don't know, but that's really cool. That it's a very rare head where Ken had a more articulated head. Normally it's just twist head. Oh, what else did I have? Oh yeah, I experimented with other ones of these. Is this Barbie's other boyfriend? I think this one sits too far off of. I think this has. It does look like it have a longer neck. I always forget his name. Anna will tell me in the comments. Whatever. Barbie's other boyfriend, and then this is the only retro one. That's probably the oldest retro one that I have. Well, that's not true. I think I've got a 60s one, but that's really cool. The hair was horrible though, so you know me and the bad hair. I just have to cut it off, and I'd rather have this, but that skin tone's not going to match. But because it was such a smashed up doll, I also didn't mind cutting off the base and trying it on the body. Sorry I can't show you that today, but maybe we'll do that again one day. But it is cool to have these bodies, and maybe I will find other just made to move bodies and apply it to them. Like here's one now. Here's the Superman body that I had to that now we have the buff body that has outshined this body because this one has more articulation. But the first buff body was the Batman Superman body from the Batman versus Superman movie, or vice versa. And I would have to change out the hands, which you can still see the black from. This would be a Batman. Batman had gloves on and Superman had fists. So there was a no win-win situation. But yeah, I don't mind having the black little wrist things, but I did switch out with other Ken hands and made this thing. But also we've got really, what is the bad part on here? Is it the waist? I forget. Anyway, the knee cracks and falls off a lot on this peg, which is unfortunate. Plastic is quite brittle on these. I did buy plenty of them, but the made-to-move body is way better. The plastic is way stronger and sturdier and thicker, and it's pretty much the same body, but has more articulation. Where's what's the hip? The hip articulation is an elastic band like that. That's not cool at all. I think they made this to be a display toy and not to be a play toy. But we can try on this head. He looks so good with that body. I don't think we'll ever get somebody who's this yellow-brown color, though, ever again. Will his name come to me? I don't think it will. Oh, be careful. And then let's check out this old-fashioned head, which is hard. But I guess that happens over time. The plastic shrinks. And I kind of like that, too. I like how army these are, which... That's a whole segue. I think this is only in here because I should be putting this body on. This head is such a good color for this body, and I don't know. I just want this guy to have a robot. So this is a psycho guy. This guy is from Max Steel, and he is like my Maskatron that I want, that nobody's making. Well, Maskatron is from Steve Austin again. It's from $6 Million Man. But I also have another one of these bodies, which I love. I think his works better too. You can see the metal inside of his arm, skin tone, and then you reveal the robot arm inside. Sorry about the lighting and everything. But also his face comes off and he's a robot. And that's why you can't, I don't really care about the skin tone because mostly he's a robot head anyway. And for some reason, it doesn't bother me when I put his faceplate on. So definitely reminds me of the $6 Million toys from the 70s. He's got these are some of my favorite classic shoes. Those are retro shoes. Some fancy Ken pants. Are they Ken pants? I don't even remember. Oh, they're Barbie looks pants. Who would have silver pants? And then a Ken fashion pack outfit. What outfit is this? Who knows? I think this is Max Steel bracelet or some other Mattel bracelet that I've matched together. Anyway, he's a robot man. He is so cool. And that's not his head. His body is more like a classic Ken doll with just stagnant arms and a robot, some kind of robot weird arm that bends out and folds out and does things, and it's not really that cool. So he had limited articulation, so I put him on a regular Max Steel body and made him better, but his skin tone would definitely be better on this. And I think, this is why this head isn't, because this is another villain. This guy came with an electronic body, again, limited articulation, but he could, when you press this button, his arms lit up and he had translucent arms, and they were really, really cool. So I guess that's why he's in there. And it's just such, you don't get ugly Ken dolls. Well, I mean, not on purpose. You might not like their heads, but this hairdo, which is so back in style, and his weird face, he looks like a mafia villain. It's so cool. So I have had him on this type of body before, but I think I probably ran it and also realized that he's a better skin tone on this body, so I think that's what's happening in there. And then they've also made this guy in other forms, and this is probably one of his best forms, because they actually made his arm robotic and they made this one bendable. So this is definitely his best form, and you can see that his face is all mashed up, and instead of the mask coming off, it explodes. So his head explodes, which is, I'm down with this. I mean, little girls might not be. And the worst part about him is that his torso is all painted. So his torso is black, and his pants are black right down to the ankles, but when you put these Ken Fashionista clothes on them, look, you can see his Terminator head inside. I mean, I like this. I know that. I'm sure the little girls and the old ladies who are watching my channel aren't into this, but this is my jam. And yeah, he had pretty good articulation. Like, he's got a slight bend in his elbow, and his wrist does twist on this arm. So this is a pretty cool as-is figure. And he's got, yeah, his regular waists and ankles and stuff. So yeah, I am down with this. I totally forgot how cool this one is. I even like the cracks in his face. Yeah, I should play with him more. And then while we're on weirdo characters, they also made Bioconstrictor is what this guy's name is. And he has a snake body. He's got basically the same body. He's wearing some classic Ken boots and some World Peacekeeper pants on. And he's got a classic Ken t-shirt on, one of my favorites. And is this the guy who's this is the guy and his neck moves because he's like kind of a snake man. So look, he can have that short little stubby neck, but I do like him elongated, and he just looks like some kind of gaunt. He's got a good amount of articulation, like he does bend at the elbows. He has giant hands, and he just looks like a cartoon character, and he's also extra tall because of his long neck. Yeah, he's a football player. No, he's everything. He could be a football player, but he's a basketball player. He's super tall, and you can see he's got Medusa hair and stuff, and he just looks like, some kind of tough guy from the streets. Gaunt face, kind of, could be an addict. He's a very thin. You can see his veins, or are they snakes? That's the question. Yeah, just cool, bizarre, but it's a full-on action figure that can be dressed up. That's what his body looks like. He's ripped, but maybe that's not. Maybe that's snakes. Coolness there. And And then I actually do have some where I have the heads on. Now I might have mixed and matched the heads. And I think this one has a cracked leg or a cracked knee or something. So he's covering that up with one black sock. And he's got his crop sweatshirt on. And it's matching his headband. So they did have different sculpts of this. But we're looking like an F-boy. And curvy shorts are fitting on their short shorts. This is quite an outfit with these sandals. It was a black one. I must have liked that outfit. Okay, here's a better outfit. Again, matching his headband. So this is another one with the headband. We got the orange and red vibe going on. They had some great stuff from BMR 1959. Some of the best clothes that were put out. And I put some matching shorts on him and some matching sandals. Don't look so bad with his cankles either. And he's got his hands in his pockets. Cool. And then this is an example. Yeah, sometimes they color the torso, which I do not like, but he looks really good in this. Oh man, yeah, brain's not working too well today. This is one of the most classic Ken sweaters on one of the most popular dolls, at least in Canada. I have probably 3, 4, 5 of these from different thrift hauls. But it's also a pretty cool, like it's pretty cheesy. I think it's like, what was it? Late 90s, early 2000s, but on the buffer Ken. So those clothes fit very, very well. That 1980s body fits very nicely. This body fits those 1980s bodies clothes very, very well. And then I match the short to this pullover. And it is, I find this kind of cheesy, but also the colors are great, and these are probably my favorite Ken shorts of all time from a fashion pack, and I have a couple of those as well. And then look at these translucent sandals that this guy's wearing. He's got very loose joints, this body, but yeah, that is what Max Steel looks like by himself, and yeah, he kind of looks trendy right now, but he does look like a tool. I've also experimented. This guy, this is a Monster High doll who is a buff wheelchair guy. Now which he should look good on here, and I've tried it, and he has the perfect neck peg and the perfect head size. It fits on the body perfect, but I've never had a body that I like. There is a black, a totally black made to move scuba diving body. So, and I think maybe the hands aren't black, and I think he would look good on that body, or maybe some other body one day, but I know that this head does. But I might just put his head back on his original body and sell the doll, because he is worth a lot too. And I don't know, there's something about his face that I don't like. This is from Monster High, if I didn't mention that. It's a Monster High head, Finnegan Wake. But just the fact that this is the perfect head peg hole for the peg on these bodies makes me, but I've never made the combination that I liked before. And I really thought this was going to be a fast, short video. Apparently not. And then here are all of the missing bodies. So you can see that's not a. Does this one still work? Wow, it still works. You can kind of see the lights lighting up. But these arms don't have any articulation. I would have loved these arms. If they had articulation, I would have made this body work. I remember when I first had it, I was putting like larger size sweaters over the torso and trying to expose the arms, but not having the elbow is really bad. But if I could figure out how to take off his hands, then that might be an option. They're really, you'd have to crack the arm open, and then I'd have to crack the arm open on the other one too, which is not going to happen. Here's an example. Oh, I could have been trying everybody's head on this guy, and I could have been trying. I've bent the pegs out of the way. The Finnegan Wake. And I think I had this one on him. Oh yeah, but even with the he needs black hands. I think that there's a scuba diving one that has all black feet and hands and is fully articulated. And then that one I would really like. So you can look, that doesn't look that bad, but the hands look silly when the skin tone isn't matching too. And then, whoa. And then I have, yeah, I think, and then I have all kinds of heads and accessories and stuff. Let's see if there's any good stuff. I know that these pants, some of them are in better shape than others. I think the best shaped ones I've taken off, they fit so well on the curvy Wild Hearts crew girl, and I still haven't done that video. But I've got, this is just some Max Steel clothes, which aren't the best. They're from that time period where I didn't really like how the clothes looked. But then I have some really cool boxing accessories and things. And different, I don't know where that's from, a little robot strap. I could probably use that for something. And then other heads that I've cut out. And don't I have one? Yeah, I guess I'm not much of a fan of this shirt, but because I don't like the painted on. No, but we don't like that, do we? The painted on skin tones. But it's hard for me to get rid of these. But yeah, that's examples of that actually works. Just different ones. Oh, I should shave his head. I never thought of that before. His head drives me crazy. Hair drives me crazy. But I have put it in a ponytail, and it does look pretty good. Here, this is the Blanche Devereaux head, and maybe I should sell this too. Of course, it fits perfectly on the Max Steel body. I'm not going to put it on all the way, but he has makeup on, and he's beautiful, and he has flowy, soft hair. I guess I could sell the head, because people probably want the head and not like this body, because it is such an action figure body. I wonder how much I can sell the head for now, because I guess I don't want it, but it is kind of a cool piece to have, especially because I used to be a romance novel guy. Not read them. I was on them. All right, and then we've got, what's that guy's name? Osborne, Osmond, Donny Osmond. That head is falling a little bit high because it shrank, but it works for different skin tones. And then yeah, just some different Disney princes work well, but I don't think this head is distinctively Max Steel heads. I think it's the heads. Yeah, I don't know. I've even tried to make a slate version and had at some point. I mean, I've ruined this head slate by cutting out so much inside so that it would fit onto a body, but I have hundreds of those. Not hundreds, but lots. And then, oh yeah, here is what the original peg looks like, and I cut all of this off. I've made many videos on how to cut that stuff off. Okay, I don't want to listen to myself talk anymore, snowboards and stuff, but so I'm done. But yeah, I think I have to go through these. There's different kinds of shoes and stuff, but because of the time period they're from, I don't necessarily like. There's a lot of late 90s, early 2000 influence on these pieces of clothing, and that is my least favorite fashion time. But there's also, I do like how spacey some of these shoes look, but I'm so busy putting the dolls in Hot Wheels skate sneakers and stuff that I don't have time to wear any of those. But actually looking at some of these chunky robotic shoes, I kind of do like them because they're crazy. Put one on. Everybody's barefoot, so, and then maybe it covers their cankles too. Yeah, they're nice rubbery shoes. They're kind of weird. They kind of look like dad shoes though. And the boots never had much shape to them. Like you can see, they're a very weird shape, but also futuristic. So that's why I keep some of these strange colors too, not colors that I like. All right. So that's my story. Other funny 80s Kens that I've experimented with, which is supposed to be on a head like this. That's also a possibility. Here's the Psycho arm, where this is unacceptable articulation. Look like bend and snap knees, though. I know that a lot of people like those. I will take hinges in the knees over sticky snap legs any day. But these are pretty cool shapely legs he has here. Very rubbery and realistic. Unfortunately, no elbows or wrist movements in this arm, so that is why I had to swap out that body. And then I don't know what is happening with, I don't know what this is or what shape it's supposed to take or do, or it's bizarre. It is very, and look, that's all weakened there. Yeah, I don't like that because it doesn't move smoothly. Oh yeah. Careful with that. Keep that closed up. It's better closed up. But yeah, maybe I should get rid of these and just, yeah, that's what this video was supposed to come through to me, and just say, get rid of all of these extra parts that you're never going to use. And maybe I will. Yeah, I don't like the style of most of these things, so that's why I probably wouldn't keep them. You would think just a basic life jacket I would like, and especially one that fit perfectly, and especially one that I'm putting on a guy who matches, that I would like this. But there's something about the details that I don't like personally, and I would rather dress them up weirdly like this in, I think you can understand that, can't you? What do you think? What do you think is the cooler? They're both pretty cool outfits, especially with the shorts and matching. All right, enough. All right, thank you so much for joining me today down this Max Steel action figure collection. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then.